I feel like I need to clear up some misconceptions between these two weapons. Despite briefly going over this in my guns ranking video, some people still don't seem to understand why Winter Grave is as strong as it is, or more specifically why the freeze status makes it as strong as it is. I want to preface this by saying that both guns are really good. This isn't a matter of which one is better, but I've continued to see people, to put it simply, slander Winter Grave in one way or another because of its ability to inflict freeze, without elaborating on any of the benefits granted by said freeze. Okay, so why is Iron Slug so good? Because Iron Slug can do this. Winter Grave, under most circumstances, can't do this. It does this. The freeze stopped the lumber from being pushed back, and as a result, it ended up dishing out a fraction of the damage Iron Slug was able to deal. Well, there you have it. Iron Slug is better than Winter Grave. Period, end of story. But wait. Take a look at this clip. Ooh. You see, Iron Slug isn't super effective if your target isn't facing directly towards you or if their back is against an obstacle. Now let's take a look at Winter Grave. Freezing the lumber in place stopped it from being pushed away from the bullet, and as a result, Winter Grave outperformed Iron Slug. Okay, so what does this mean? If you're in a scenario where you're able to line up charge attacks quickly and efficiently, Iron Slug is almost always the better option. But if you're in a scenario where monsters are constantly changing directions, looking away from you, or if their model doesn't properly display what direction they're facing, you're probably better off using Winter Grave. And let me tell you, the latter scenario is far more abundant than the former. In the heat of combat, trying to line up a Magnus charge sometimes just isn't worth it. It leaves you extremely vulnerable. You're not able to block, dash, heal, and in some cases, if you wait too long to release the charge, you won't even be able to strafe an oncoming attack. And even then, there might be some other factor that messes up the charge attack. Winter Grave suffers from almost none of these issues. The freeze status, as we've already established, allows Winter Grave to deal high damage regardless of what direction enemies are facing. Time spent repositioning and waiting for monsters to move around is time spent not dealing damage, dodging attacks, healing, etc. For the most part, enemy positioning is completely irrelevant when using Winter Grave. Not to mention that Winter Grave is able to keep enemies frozen in place while you hit them with consecutive charge attacks, which is extremely useful when fighting lichen colonies, or if you're up against Tortodrones. The freeze application vastly outperforms Iron Slug, and that isn't even considering the numerous ways you can apply these techniques to either weapon. Most freeze-themed monsters are immune to the freeze status, meaning Winter Grave functions identically to Iron Slug, if not better. And on the other hand, freeze and sleep can prevent knockback for a couple of hits, allowing you to achieve similar results with Iron Slug. It's actually one of the few genuinely good applications of Torpor Tantrum. Don't tell the meta slaves I told you this, they're gonna hate me. And all of this is without even mentioning the fact that Winter's Grave deals shadow damage. People seem to really overlook how significant the difference is between dealing effective damage and dealing normal damage. That alone is more than enough reason to pick Winter Grave over Iron Slug.